We've all been through a lot this year. The coronavirus has caused the closing of schools, businesses, churches, and the cancellation of entire sports seasons. But I know that I'm not alone when I say that one of the things I'm most saddened about is that it also ruined Black Friday. Not that I was gonna go shopping, I'm not a moron, but I was looking forward to watching the morons. And now all we have is memories. And the hope that things will be back to normal next year. I couldn't even drive by the zombies on my way to dinner who were all waiting in line and bullhorn them.
Look at you mentally enslaved morons. How much credit card debt do you all have? How much have you put into your retirement account this year?
0.
How many hours you spend watching television this year? A day. How many books have you read this year? Look at you morons waiting in line. Spending hours and hours to go and buy more electronics with money you don't have. Absolutely a disgrace, all of you.
The Babylon Bee made a good point that those who are disappointed on missing out on Black Friday deals could just hold out until the next peaceful protest. Remember these shoppers taking advantage of the George Floyd special at Target earlier this year in Minnesota? Yeah, there were some reparations, yo. Other parts of the Thanksgiving holiday were normal, however, despite the coronavirus, meaning that liberals were complaining about it.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
YouTube's official Twitter account posted an entire thread beginning, quote, "For Indigenous and Native Americans, the fourth Thursday of November is dedicated to Indigenous history, activism, and resistance. It's called Unthanksgiving. Unthanksgiving, they continue, is about acknowledging, educating, and honoring centuries of Indigenous resistance. Blah, blah, blah." It just goes on and keeps complaining. You know, I think the Native Americans should be glad that the European colonizers arrived here. Otherwise, they might still be cooking their dinner over a campfire instead of in a kitchen. Singer Demi Lovato posted on her Instagram that 2020 is the year to tell the real story of Thanksgiving, which then went on to complain about the European Americans coming and modernizing North America. Since the Communist Chinese don't celebrate Thanksgiving because it's an American holiday, neither does the Washington Post because they're a Communist Chinese propaganda outlet, and they ran with the headline, "As Americans prepare to gather for Thanksgiving, the world watches with dread and disbelief." How dare you have a family dinner? And this is what happened after Denver's Democrat Mayor Michael Hancock urged his fellow Denverites not to leave the house or have anybody over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Video tonight shows Denver Mayor Michael Hancock boarding a plane yesterday at Denver International Airport. He continues to make national news for traveling this Thanksgiving after urging Denver residents to cancel their plans with people outside of their own homes. He says he flew to Mississippi, where he could be with his wife and his daughter.
Come on, man, there's no way that a Democrat in power wouldn't practice what they preach. Or members of the media like ABC's Jonathan Karl or CNN's resting face Caitlin Collins. Not to mention YouTube's Dr. Mike, the Sanjay Gupta wannabe who got caught partying on his birthday on a boat down in Florida.
I messed up. I really did. And I need to do better. I'm sorry. I let you down. What I can say is that I'm gonna strive to do better. I'm a human. I messed up here. It's true. I really did. This has been a mistake. What's killing me most right now is, like, people leave negative comments, and I deserve that. I'm accepting of that. I messed up here. It's true.
His biggest regret is that people are leaving negative comments on his YouTube channel. Oh, and speaking of hypocrites, here's an old story from CNN reporting on the Smartmatic electronic voting machines.
Antonio Mujica and his partner Alfredo Anzola received a small business loan from the Venezuelan government only months before the recall election. These corporate registration documents from Venezuela show the Venezuelan government owned 28% of the stock of another company they started, Bizta, which adapted voting software for the Smartmatic machines in the 2004 elections. The same document shows a Chavez government minister, Omar Montillo, was on the board of directors. The Chavez government gave Bizta, Smartmatic, and another company a $91 million contract to run voting machines for the 2004 election. The next year, the owners of Smartmatic, primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen, bought Sequoia, one of the top electronic voting system companies in the United States, for $16 million. Smartmatic is a labyrinth of international holding companies owned by Venezuelan businessmen. Smartmatic Group NV of Curaçao, Netherlands, Antilles owns Smartmatic International BV of Amsterdam, Netherlands, owns Smartmatic Corporation of Florida, which bought Sequoia Voting Systems of California, USA. When Smartmatic bought the U.S. voting machine companies, the U.S. government did not review the sale. Many experts say those voting machines were manipulated in Venezuela to give President Hugo Chavez a victory. Exit polls done by the U.S. firm Penn, Schoen and Berland had Chavez losing 41% to 59%. But the next day, Chavez declared victory, reversing the score, saying he won 59% of the vote.
Everything was computed in the favor of the government. So the only explanation is that the Smartmatic machines had been programmed in that way.
A Harvard mathematician crunched the numbers on the Venezuelan election.
It had to be the Smartmatic system. All these machines talk to a central computer and report on their results. And in that mechanism, as they communicate with the central machine can report anything.
Smartmatic is technically based in Boca Raton, Florida, but the president of the company, Jack Blaine, testified to the Chicago City Council. Fewer than a dozen Smartmatic employees work in Florida. The majority of the workers are based in Venezuela.
Well, that sure is interesting, CNN. I'm gonna have to look more into that. Thanks for the heads up. And a heads up to you, my trusty subscribers. Everything in my online store is 20% off this weekend if you use the promo code TrumpClaus at the checkout. So don't procrastinate this year and start your Christmas shopping now by getting someone on your list a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, an I Love Global Warming shirt, or any of my awesome designs. And while you're at it, pick yourself up a Trump Claus sweatshirt for Christmas dinner. It's time to head over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Enter the promo code TrumpClaus at the checkout. One word. Save 20% off of anything this weekend and check them out.